Hi guys, good evening and welcome back to Gradeup. My name is Harshmeet Singh and this is your next class in the new mini series. I hope all of you are doing good. As you know, yesterday कल हमने mini series start की थी when I told you that in this week in the 5 videos I will be discussing with you constitutional bodies in India. Yesterday was our class number 1. कल हम लोग की पहली class थी where we had discussed the Election Commission of India and the UPSC. These two constitutional bodies were discussed yesterday, and now I'll be going ahead and today we will be discussing two more important constitutional bodies. The two important constitutional bodies today will be the CAG, that is the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, and the Finance Commission. These two are the bodies that we will be discussing today. From Monday to Friday, as promised, in these 5 days, I am planning to cover all the important constitutional bodies. So do make sure that you see all the videos one by one of each class. Today is class number 2 and we will be discussing these two bodies. Good evening to all of you. Those who have come in, always happy to see you. Hi Manish, good evening. Good evening guys. Do make sure you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, and you also leave a comment and share it with your friends as well. So without waiting any further, let's see what do we have at our hand. The first body that we have at our hand that we will be discussing today is called the Finance Commission of India. Now the Finance Commission is a constitutional body, but it is not a permanent body. Remember that part. Finance Commission is not a permanent body, meaning that the President of India makes Finance Commission once in 5 years. So हर 5 साल में एक बार Finance Commission बनाई जाती है. Why is it made? क्या काम है उसका? The tax money that we give to the central government. Most of the taxes that we pay, like income tax, corporate tax, the big heavy taxes that we pay, most money from the taxes goes to the central government only. However, the state governments also need money for their working. So central government has this responsibility that they have to transfer some money from their tax revenue to the states. How much money will they transfer to which state? That is what the Finance Commission recommends. So Finance Commission is formed once in 5 years and then they give a report. According to their report, they tell how much money to be given to each state for the next 5 years. So for example, their numbers will be different for different states. Very obviously, UP will have a different number. A different number will be given to Sikkim, to Nagaland, to Goa, Jammu, Kashmir, etc. But how much money will each state get from the tax revenue of the center? This is recommended to the central government by the Finance Commission. This is what their major responsibility is. Now, the Finance Commission, as I said, is a constitutional body, and just like all other constitutional bodies, whatever they recommend or whatever they advise to the central government is not binding on them. Do remember this part. Whatever the Finance Commission recommends is not binding. Not binding means if the Finance Commission says that 42% of the tax revenue should go to the states in total, it doesn't mean that the central government has to accept that. Central government can very well say, no, we will not accept this, we will have some other number in our mind. They are not bound by this advice given by the Finance Commission. Having said that, although they are not bound by that, but still, mostly you will see that the central government does accept the advice given by the Finance Commission. So usually accept karte hain advice. Usually whatever advice is given, it is accepted. If they say 42%, the government does accept 42%. If they say 36%, they accept 36%. Although government does find some loopholes in them, but I'm not going to detail of that. So this is what the Finance Commission does. Apart from this, Finance Commission also recommends to the government how to improve your financial situation, how to improve the financial situation of different states, how to bring more money to panchayats, how to bring more money to municipalities. All of that is the recommendation or is part of the recommendations given by the Finance Commission. Now, the Finance Commission has 5 members, which includes the chairman. As I said, they're appointed by the President of India. So, the chairman is a person who has experience in public affairs, so usually a very senior bureaucrat, a senior IAS officer, senior bureaucrat is appointed. Then the other 4 members can be a High Court judge or someone qualified to be a High Court judge, person with knowledge in the matter of finance and accounts of the government, person with work experience in financial matters and administration, and person with special knowledge of economics. Together, these 5 people make up the finance. As you know, the President of India does not do anything on his own discretion. So even here, when the President is actually appointing the Finance Commission members, he is not doing them from his own mind. It is the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister who are telling the President who to appoint. Now, as I said, Finance Commission's major responsibility, or the first or the biggest responsibility, is to advise to the central government how much money from its taxes should go to the state government. And from that also, which state government should get how much taxes. Whenever the Finance Commission is formed, they come out with a specific formula. They keep in their mind many different things before deciding on the exact number of money, or before deciding the exact amount of money. That is population of the states, income level of the states, development in the states, and there are various other factors that they keep in mind, because obviously higher the population of the state, more money they would need. Lesser the income level of the state, more money they would need. So it's very obvious that the poorer states or the states with higher population would obviously need more support from the central government in the form of revenue. Hi Shrikutan. Apart from this, they also tell, as I said, how to improve the money flowing, or how to improve the financial condition of the panchayats and the municipalities also. Apart from this, the President of India, if he or she wants, they can also refer any matter to the Finance Commission, and they can ask the Finance Commission to give a report on that matter as well. For example, earlier, President has given a topic, let's say, of water, how to improve the water conservation in India, how to improve the quality of water in India. So any other matter that is referred to the Finance Commission by the President of India, on that matter also the Finance Commission gives a report. As with all other constitutional bodies, they also submit their report to the President of India, and the President of India will obviously give the report to the Parliament. The Finance Commission report is discussed in the Parliament, given to the government to implement. It is not binding on the government, remember that. Government may or may not accept them. Usually the members in the Finance Commission are bureaucrats, those who have been working with the government of India. The second constitutional body, and again a very important one, is the CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. Now, if you look at the complete name of CAG, or the full form of CAG, it will tell you that there are 2 functions of CAG. There are 2 big words that are given here. First word that is written is Comptroller. Second word that is written here is Auditor General. Comptroller and Auditor General. Now, Comptroller and Auditor General are 2 very different things. Hi PR. Comptroller means that before government spends the money, government has to take permission from Comptroller. So again, Comptroller means a person without whose permission, jiski permission ke bina, government cannot spend any money. That is called a Comptroller, who controls the government finances. Auditor, on the other hand, is a person who audits, जो पैसा खर्च होने के बाद bills देखता है कि ठीक से खर्चा हुआ है कि नहीं हुआ है. Auditor is the one who starts to work after money has already been spent. Comptroller is the one without whose permission money cannot be spent. Auditor is the one whose work starts only when the money has already been spent. Now, India took the office of CAG, or the idea of CAG, जो हमारा idea था, we took this from UK, हमने UK से लिया. UK government has a CAG, and we also took the idea of CAG. But in India, the CAG does not have the power or functions of a comptroller. हमारा CAG comptroller के काम नहीं करता है. Our CAG does not have to give permission before the government spends the money. Government does not have to take permission from CAG before spending the money. In India, the work of CAG starts after government has already spent the money. For example, if government took 10,000 crore rupees from the parliament से government ने 10,000 crore रुपए लिए. Government said we will make a statue. Then the CAG will have to check the bills, etc. Was this money spent in the statue or not? Was this money spent in the right manner or not? Was there some corruption? Could this work have been done in a lower amount or not? क्या इस सस्ते में हो सकता था कि नहीं? This is what the CAG does. First, it tells whether the expenditure that the government did was legal or illegal. Legal था या illegal था. Second, they also tell whether the expenditure was waste. क्या ये waste था? Could government have used some other resources? या ये waste नहीं था. This is what the CAG does. But CAG in India, again, cannot stop the government from using the money. CAG's work in India starts only when government has already spent the money. Can you identify this gentleman? What is the name of this person? What exactly is the name of this person who is in front of you right now? Yep, yes. He is, as you can imagine, he is a present CAG of India. His name is GC Murmu. So he is GC Murmu. He is a present CAG of the country. He is actually an IAS officer, which again shows even if you have to become a CAG, usually it is the IAS officers only who become the CAG. But usually the IAS officers only who get to become the CAG also. So he is the CAG right now, an IAS officer. Now again goes to show you don't have to be an expert in accounts or finance or economics to be the CAG of the country. Government appoints the CAG amongst from its IAS officers only because at the end of the day, government appoints those people to these positions which the government trusts. And government trusts its own IAS officers because they have been working with the government for a long time. So that is why usually the IAS officers only get these kind of positions. Now, the office of the CAG has always been in existence, हमेशा से रहा है, but it has only come into the news when Vinod Rai became the CAG. And the Congress government was working, Manmohan Singh was a prime minister. Our CAG used to be Vinod Rai. He gave a lot of reports because of which many scams came out. The Commonwealth Games scam, the 2G scam, Adarsh Ghotala, all these scams came out when the CAG gave its report. Vinod Rai. Vinod Rai was the one during whose time, now I'm not saying he did good work or bad work, but it was during his time that the office of CAG became famous because he gave a lot of reports about government expenditure, how the government was misusing the money or how there was a lot of scam. In fact, one of the major reasons why Congress lost the 2014 election so badly was because there was an image built in everyone's mind that Congress is a corrupt government, and that was mainly because of the CAG reports that kept on coming out. That the Congress government is corrupt and they have done this and that, etc. So CAG had a major role to play in that. Now, CAG does not have a parallel office at the state government level. There's only one CAG for central government and for the state government as well. The same CAG gives the reports or audits the accounts of central government and audits the accounts of the state governments also. The same CAG will audit the Consolidated Fund of India, Consolidated Fund of the states, and every other account of the government. The CAG also audits government departments, government companies, not all of them, but most of them. So most of government departments, government projects, government company, etc. are audited by the CAG. The CAG gives a report about whether they have been spending the money in the right manner or not. For example, if Parliament has given some money to a particular department The CAG will give a report whether the money was spent in the right manner or not, whether there was some corruption in spending the money, whether there is something wrong, whether someone had some commission in between. This is what the CAG does. Now, CAG is also connected very closely to a committee of the parliament called the Public Account Committee, PAC. Usually what happens, the CAG gives a report to the President of India. The President will give the report to the Parliament for discussion. In the Parliament, it is the Public Account Committee that will discuss the report. Public Account Committee is the one that usually discusses the report of the CAG. So Public Account Committee, meaning that this committee works very closely with the CAG and examines the report of the CAG. That is why the CAG is called the friend, philosopher and guide of the Public Account Committee. The CAG helps the committee in doing their work, in understanding the government expenditure, in understanding how the money has been spent in the right manner or not. There are some very important limitations also. Before going on to limitations, one more point. The removal of CAG happens in exactly the same manner as a Supreme Court judge. No CAG has been Mohan is saying मोहन व्हाट कॉमन लैंग्वेज डू यूज, बता भाई तेरे को कौन सी लैंग्वेज चाहिए, मैं उस लैंग्वेज में बोलूंगा। यार तू गुस्सा क्यों हो रहा है, बता क्या लैंग्वेज चाहिए। So there are some problems with the office of the CAG. There are some limitations with the office of the CAG. Some of them we have discussed earlier, कुछ मैंने पहले discuss की, and some of them will be discussed now. As I said, the CAG can also be removed. He will be removed in exactly the same manner as a Supreme Court judge. जैसे Supreme Court judge remove होता है, वैसे ही the CAG also is removed. Now there are certain faults or there are certain shortcomings in the office of the CAG. For example, number one, as I said in the beginning, in England में जहाँ से हमने CAG को office लिया, the CAG has the power of a comptroller also. Means in England, the CAG controls the government finances. Without the CAG's permission, the government of England cannot spend any money. In India, that is not the case. In India, the work of CAG only starts after government has already spent the money, not before that. CAG in India cannot stop the government from spending any money. The government spends the money and then the CAG comes into the picture. Then the CAG looks into whether the money was spent in the right manner or not. Second, the Secret Service expenditure. So we have RAW, we have Intelligence Bureau. These secret services, the CAG cannot question their expenditure. For example, when the CAG asks RAW or IB, where have you spent the money? They just have to say, we have spent the money. Where, how, they would not answer to the CAG. They are not answerable to the CAG. CAG cannot ask questions about the money spent by secret services because that is for national security purpose. There are also some other bodies which are outside the CAG's purview, like panchayats, municipalities. There are PPP projects by the government which are not audited by the CAG. So as I said, not every government authority will be audited by the CAG. There are some government authorities which will not be audited by the CAG. And last but not the least, there is another problem with the government departments. That is, when the CAG asks for certain information, certain bills, certain information about expenditure, how expenditure has been done, in many cases CAG is denied information. Even when the CAG is given information by certain departments, they are not given the complete appropriate information, which means that the CAG is not able to fulfill its duties properly. So lack of information or denial of information or a delay in information leads to the CAG not being able to do or fulfill the responsibility given to the CAG. The reports are delayed because just imagine one CAG's office having to prepare so many reports every year for the central government, for state governments, for union territories. So if the information is not given on time, it would obviously hurt the CAG and not allow the CAG in working. These are the two bodies that we want to discuss today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. It was about the CAG and the Finance Commission. Today, again, reminding you, is the last day of the ongoing Summer of Hope sale. Use the code HOPE50 to get flat 50% off on your Gradeup Super subscription. This is the last day for this. From tomorrow, this coupon code will not work. If you are preparing for the IAS examination and planning to write in 2021 or 22 or 2023, make sure you join the Gradeup Super subscription. The IAS course, over 500 live classes, all the notes, again, apart from mock tests, test series, practice questions, and lot more. You have multiple options to buy the course for whichever year that you are preparing. You can also renew your ongoing EPFO course if you are planning to appear for the EPFO. These are the benefits you get of subscribing to Gradeup Super. You get access to all running and upcoming courses, structured study plans, expert faculty, study materials, mock tests, PDFs, and a lot more. There are many teachers who are all experts of their own subjects. I'm sure you're familiar with many of their faces. This is me, Harshmeet Singh. Most of these are highly experienced. They have given their own IAS interview and they know how exactly to teach and what to teach. We are also in Telegram. You can join this channel. Search by this name, Gradeup IAS Preparation. You will get study material and short notes from here. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Next class will be tomorrow when we will be discussing some other constitution. Tomorrow we will most probably be discussing about the Attorney General of India and the Advocate General of different states. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye bye. Good night.